everybody, and welcome to this episode. Let's talk about starting something new. And today I am joined by the very talented and very wonderful Milly Parazo, founder of Terrazzo Parazo, a handmade homeware company. So Milly, hello. It's so great to have you here.
It's so great to be here. Thank you.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm just getting ready for Christmas, which seems a bit crazy, but yeah, I'm doing good.
So good. So I love to ask people 3 questions when I'm starting a conversation, and that is, what do you do? What do you love? And what are you learning in this season? So kick it off. Give us a little bit of background about who you are.
Okay, so what I do, I obviously run Terrazzo Parazo, which is a homeware business. And I make like little trinket dishes and vases, etc. And what was the other question? Sorry.
What do you love?
What do I love? I love food. I love going out to eat. Anything to do with food, I'm there.
100%. And do you have a dish that would be your go-to if you could eat anything over again?
I love Thai food.
Yeah.
Maybe like massaman curry, something like that. Love it.
So good. And what are you learning in this season right now?
I think I'm just learning to go with the flow and trust God with everything, give him everything, and just keep going for it.
Yeah, I love that. And so on that note, we're talking about starting something new, and you recently founded Terrazzo Parazo, which you say is a handmade homeware company. And I'd love to know, take us back to the beginning. Where did it all start?
So at the start of COVID, I lost my job. I was in the events industry. So obviously, like so many other people in that industry lost their jobs. So I then decided I was doing it as a hobby. So I just carried on with it to kill time. And then I created an Instagram account, a TikTok, and people were just interested in it from the get-go, I guess. And I think, for me, I didn't know whether I should go for interviews for other jobs or if COVID was a time to explore actually something else. Yeah. Because when else do you have that amount of time to explore what you actually love doing? Yeah. It all started from losing my job, and it was actually my dad that made me redundant, which is quite funny. Yeah, thanks, Dad. Yeah, that's always a joke. Thanks, Dad, for making me redundant. But yeah, that's where it started, and then I just carried it on. Through lockdown, I was in my bedroom, so we had just bought a house, and I decided to turn one of the rooms into a little making studio. And I created a TikTok. I think it was my first TikTok, and it went viral and got millions of views.
Wow.
Which is really how it blew up, I think. And yeah, from that it's just grown so fast. It's been a crazy road.
That's amazing. I love that. And what a God moment in some ways, that actually something that could have looked really bad, I've lost my job, what do I do, actually has catapulted you into doing something that you really love.
Yeah,
and I love exactly. It was your hobby. That's amazing.
It was so crazy because it was such a tough time in my life, because obviously I had just bought a house, I had to pay for our mortgage, we had a wedding coming up, and so it was very stressful. I was what are we going to do? So I'm so thankful to God that like his plan worked out for me.
That's amazing. I love that. And we are absolutely, like, I'm so impressed by you. So we're cheering you on. I'm so amazed. So how did you, we're talking about starting something new. How did you know that you were ready to launch the company? Did you have this thing of like, I feel ready? Or did you have to wait for certain things to be in place? Talk to the girls who were like, how do you know if you're ready to start something?
I don't think I ever had a moment where I was like, okay, I feel really ready to do this. I don't really know if you ever get that exact moment, but for me it was more like, what have I got to lose? Like, just go for it, try it out. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, just go for it. So that's what I did do.
That's amazing. And what advice would you give to anybody who's, now you've got a bit of experience under your belt, you've got nearly 2 years of running a company, and you said before we went live that you're hiring some temps ready for Christmas, getting ready for that. What would you advise people now you know what's involved in running a business? What would you say to anybody who's thinking, okay, I want to start something, I have a full-time job, how do I transition into that? Could you give any like tips or pointers?
I would say to definitely try and talk to other people who run small businesses. I think that helps out a lot. Also, it's very time consuming, so you do have to put a lot of effort into it, and time as well. Like, it's not just gonna fall into place easily. Like, if you really want to do it and you're passionate about it, then put in the time, and I think it will show eventually how much time and effort you have put into it.
Yeah, great advice. And how much, when you were starting it out, what did your day look like? Was it early starts, late finishes, or could you do it within working hours? Like, how did you define that when you're starting something completely from scratch?
Yeah, so obviously I had no job at this point, so I acted as if it was my job.
That's amazing.
So I would wake up and go to the other room in my house, like go to work, and then I would work a full day, and then I would finish at like 5, 6-ish. So I just acted as if it was my job, and then it eventually did turn into my job. So yeah, that's how.
That's amazing. And I love that. I think that says a lot about you, that when you could have taken the chance to not do anything, you actually chose to put in the time and have the self-discipline and the motivation to do that. I think that says a lot about you.
Yeah.
So what have been some of the biggest challenges in this journey? And in hindsight, are you thankful for them?
Right. So I would say working from home was definitely a big challenge, because obviously my work is very messy. It takes up a lot of space. So and when there was 2 of us working in the small bedroom in my house, we would be like jumping over each other. We would be like jumping over wet material. We'd be stepping in things all the time. And then even so as it grew, it did take over my house. Like, there would be boxes in the lounge, in just everywhere, like even in the toilet there would be boxes of some sort. So I think that was probably hard, not being able to get away from it, like in the evenings and stuff, because it was just always around. And I think another thing that is challenging is just because running a business is a complete new thing to me. So I've had to learn so much, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing or what I should be doing. So I think that's probably been hard as well, and I didn't realize how hard it is to run a small business as well.
Yeah, that's so helpful. And did you find, like, when you are, because you're starting it, and you said it was when it was all in your house, did you find it hard to switch off in the evenings and like create boundaries of like, this is my downtime now? Or do you still wrestle with that? Like, how do you navigate that so it doesn't become your whole life, even though it's a massive part of it?
Yeah. So it's definitely been hard, because obviously the reason I started it was because I love doing it. So that was hard, because like in the evenings I would want to do it because I enjoy it. But yeah, even like if someone like emailed me about something, or I'd think, oh, I'll just make another thing, or like that was definitely hard to turn off. And I think it's a lot better now that I'm out the house. Like I can switch off more, but still because we're such a small team, like I have emails and social media that distract me in the evenings. So, but I think I'm learning, like I'm getting there. Like I think it's really important to switch off. So I want to get to the point where I can do that completely.
Yeah. But I think, like you said, when you're passionate about it and you're driving it and it's in that growing stage, it's really, you have to really be kind of ruthless, don't you, with boundaries. But when you love it, it's like,
yeah, I don't know what to do. Yeah.
So tell us then, on like the topics, kind of segue, loving things, what have been some of the pinch me moments so far?
Wow. There's been a lot, to be honest. I mean, definitely the main one would probably be getting a studio. Like that was, I can't believe like how fast that has happened. I didn't ever think that would happen, let alone in less than a year. Like that, that was definitely a pinch me moment. Getting our first employee was definitely an amazing thing. Just like, I guess like even on social media, when we hit like 100k on Instagram, and just like when TikToks or Reel go viral, you're like, wow, this is crazy. Like,
that's amazing. It sounds like it's been a wild ride so far.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
That's amazing though. Like, that's incredible. So with that though, have there ever been moments where you felt overwhelmed or discouraged?
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like I get overwhelmed quite a lot. So that's been like a hard thing to try and work out how to deal with that feeling. But I think like because it's such a new thing, some days I'm like, oh, I don't think I can do this, like because I don't have like the knowledge or the experience in running a small business. Sometimes like I doubt myself and I'm like, should I be doing this? Am I doing this right? Like, what do people think of me doing this? There's like obviously all these thoughts that go through you. But I think when I have those moments, I just try and, I don't know, I could sleep it off and wake up the next day and think it's a new day. Like, that was yesterday. Today we're getting on with it. We're going for it.
So good. And how do you, like, as a Christian, how do you keep your trust in God? How do you keep going, okay, you're at the center. I trust you with where this goes. I trust you with the process and the decisions and all of that. How do you do that? How do you walk that out?
Yeah. It's definitely a big thing. I feel like all my life I've always had this really big trust in God. So like I feel like that's probably why I do just go for things, because I'm like, well, life's too short. Like, what can go wrong? Like, if I don't try and take risks, then I'm never gonna know what God has in store for me. So I think it's great to try things out and be adventurous and take these risks, because you don't know what God's plans are for you. So I think, and I think as well, like I've taken so many risks that I'm like, oh, I can take another one. Like,
what's another one?
Yeah, we'll take another one. Like, God's got this. Like, He's had me the whole time. He obviously wants me to do this business. So, like, let's go for it. And even if something does go wrong, then it's not the end of the world. It's a lesson that I will have learned. So I think that's how I cope with it, really.
That's so good. And have there ever been moments where you've gone, is this what God wants me to do? Or do you feel like you've had that unswerving, I know this?
Yeah, I think definitely at the moment, because it's still early days, I feel like this is definitely what I'm meant to be doing. And just how it's kind of all fallen into place. I'm like, wow, God has like massive dreams for me, like that I didn't even see for myself. Like, so I feel like definitely this is what I'm meant to be doing right now.
That's amazing. I love that. And so finally then, what do you wish you'd known sooner about starting something new?
I feel like I wish I knew that you don't need, I don't know, a business degree, or you don't need to know everything to start something new. Like, you can learn with the process. I wish that someone had told me to go for it, like, and not doubt myself and be confident. And I think just to believe in myself that I do have that creativity and that I can be a boss, even when I'm young. Like, I think because I'm so young, I would have doubted that as well. Like, oh, you can't run your own business when you're so young, but you can.
Yeah, and you're living proof that you absolutely can, that you can pivot when life doesn't go how you probably thought. You can pivot and actually take what's in your hand and in your heart and be faithful with that, and we watch what God does with it, and it's remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing, Milly. So I've got some quick fire questions before we round up. But I'd love to know, so for anyone who's going, oh, where can I find this? Because you create the most lush things. Those trays are amazing. So tell us, where can they find you?
So you can find us on Instagram or TikTok. It's Terrazzo Parazo. I can spell it out because it is like some people
definitely do. We'll put all the links in so people will be able to find it.
Cool. Yes. And then we've got a website as well. That's www.terrazzoparazo.co.uk. So that's how you can find us.
Amazing. Okay. So quick fire questions then before we round off. What can you never leave the house without?
Oh, I would have said my face mask, but now we don't have to wear face masks. Probably, it sounds bad, but my phone. That doesn't sound great though.
No, but I think most people, if they're actually honest, probably feel the same. And I always justify it as, I feel like I need my phone in case of an emergency, like I need to be able to contact somebody. Okay.
Exactly.
What are you afraid of right now?
How many sales we're going to get at Christmas and if I'm going to be able to cope with it.
Oh, wow. Okay. And if you knew you couldn't fail, you would what?
I would. Oh, that's a tricky one. I don't know. I would go to the moon. I would fly to the moon or something crazy.
I love that. Do you know what? That is like, I've never heard that answer before. So I think that's go.
Yeah, I would just do something really wacky and weird.
I'm not going to die. I'm not going to fail. Yeah. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Totally. Well, Milly, it's been an absolute privilege talking to you. And thank you so much for taking the time to share your story, your wisdom, your journey. It's an inspiration. And I commend you for what we said, taking that dream and stewarding it faithfully and being a living expression of doing what you're made to do. So you're amazing. You're so creative, so talented, and we are cheering you on. So thank you so much.
Thank you. That's so kind.
And wherever you are, thank you so much for listening. We hope that this episode has encouraged you, inspired you, and challenged you to maybe start something new if there's something in your heart. But until next time, we will see you soon. Bye.